Alright, so today I figured I'd try to show everybody my N64 collection. I decided to take a room with a little bit of lighting, and also I have more space to show the entire thing in like one view. I'm just going to go through my collection for now. I'm not sure where I got everything at the moment, but okay then, here we go. Alright then, here we go. Here's my entire Nintendo 64 collection. Let's take a closer look. Here's all my games. Here's the system itself. Here's my controllers. Here's my accessories. And here's my third-party assorted material. Alright then. Here we have a Nintendo 64 memory card, or known as the controller pack. It's just a memory card. I'm not sure why they decided to refer to it as the controller pack. There's the model number. And only a few games actually use the memory card for the thing. The N64. Most of the games actually saved on save batteries and data on the cartridge, but there's a few games that actually use this. Okay, here is what's known as the Nintendo 64 jumper pack. Basically, this is the original RAM pack that the N64 came with. If you don't know what RAM is, it's random access memory. Technology needs it to run certain things. Pretty much run what's going on at the moment. And what it gets replaced with is the expansion pack. I can't properly remove it at the moment now, but basically it expands the RAM. It was used for later on games that needed to run more material or whatnot in the system. The N64, pretty much here it is. If you're not aware, 4 controller ports, on and off power. The back for the adapter is one unit. There's not a separate RF or AV thing. Of course, the cording is separate. Here's where the power goes. Okay, and then on the bottom we have an extension port. This was only used on very rare things. Most of the things that you can actually get that use the extension port are bootlegging devices or other things that are third-party and unofficial. The only official thing it was used for is Nintendo 64 disk drive, which was an add-on that was only released limited in Japan, that instead of using the cartridge-based like systems games, it used disk drives that would stick in. There was a lot of stuff. They pretty much had a terrible launch with it, mostly on their own part. It never came out in North America. If you actually get the Japanese model disk drive, it will run with a North American system. So there's that. Okay, here's the standard gray controller that came with the model that I own. Here's the transparent purple. There was a line of N64s later in the life line of the N64 that came transparent colored. They all had different names like Fusion and whatnot. I do not recall the proper names for all of them at the moment. But basically the systems came out with that same color, and the controls were sold separate to match. Here's a black standard N64 controller. This one is one that I got at a thrift store, and pretty much the joystick is not properly working. I didn't realize it until I got it. I only got it for like $1 or so. Nothing lost. Here's a working black one. It's completely fine, in good condition. Okay, and then right here, I have a Gameshark. For those that don't know, a Gameshark, or known as Action Replay in certain regions, is a device that lets you pretty much cheat or edit the game's code values, usually to cheat, or access other parts of the game not available. This is the version 3.3, and this one is currently not working properly. I'm going to work on trying to get it to work so I can test stuff out. And over here is something much rarer. This is known as Nintendo 64 disk drive, or Dex drive. My bad. The Dex drive is basically from the same people that own Gameshark. During the time, they made to plug into your computer via Here I have a third-party memory card. It's supposed to have more save space than the standard one. It has a switch to switch between 1 and 2. It's kind of in poor condition physically, but it worked last I tried it, so I kept it. Usually with third-party things, I just end up recycling them or junking them because most of them are poor quality or don't last as good as the standard ones. Okay. Here I have Perfect Dark with the box and manual and the whole package, which, for those that don't know, getting a fully boxed N64 game is a lot more difficult these days because most people would either dump the boxes or they're made of cardboard so they would fade or wear really easily. Perfect Dark was a game by Rare, which were well known for most of the N64 titles, including GoldenEye 007, one of the most popular titles on the N64, Conker's Bad Fur Day, the Banjo-Kazooie series, and Donkey Kong 64. And here I have my collector's edition Majora's Mask with the manual. The original pre-orders came as collector's editions with this gold style cartridge. As you can see, it's not real gold. It's kind of mediocre, and then it also has a holographic cover. I'm not sure how well this reflects via the camera, but hopefully it's good enough that you can get the idea. Here I have Bomberman Hero. This game is pretty much the second Bomberman game released on the N64. It's also a peculiar thing in the series because this one has no multiplayer. For those that don't know, Bomberman is mostly a game of multiplayer action where the mechanics are you're in a semi-maze-like area, you place bombs, they blow up, you try to defeat the other opponents via the bombs exploding. But this game completely derived from the rest of the series and did not have one single multiplayer mode. It was all single player. Here I have Kirby's Crystal Shard 64. The only Kirby game on the N64. Kirby pretty much was ignored for a while console-wise, as in having a standard game. On the GameCube you didn't have any. This game can be a little bit difficult sometimes, but pretty much I've completed most of it. Alright. Jetforce Gemini, I have not completed this one myself. This one's in... I'm going to try to clean some of these off, but most of these cartridges all work fine. Another game by Rare I forgot to mention. GoldenEye 007, as I mentioned. There's not much need to be said by this already. Mischief Makers. This is one of my favorite N64 games. It was made by Treasure, and basically it's a 2D platformer with 3D elements in the backgrounds. And I rather much enjoy it. It's known as Yuki Yuki Troublemakers in Japan. Okay, here's Pokemon Snap. Pokemon Snap, as many know the Pokemon franchise already, was a game where you took pictures of Pokemon. It was well known because actually if you took pictures of your Pokemon, you could go to special kiosks and Blockbusters and actually print out pictures of your Pokemon. Okay, here's Windback. Windback is a covert operations game that is actually rather difficult to play. I have never beaten it or got too far. It's made by Koei, as you can see. Here's Bomberman 64. It was the first Bomberman game on Nintendo 64, and the style of it is definitely completely different from the original Bomberman styles. It's also pretty much the first three-dimensional one. Alright, here's F-Zero X. This is the second game in the series. This one pretty much is a racing game, except for it's supposed to be like space cars. Instead, they go rather fast. I haven't played too much of it. Okay, and here's LegendZ Ocarina of Time. It's pretty much a well-known game. I'm not sure which version of this one this is at the moment. I think it's version 1.2. For those that don't know, this game was re-released. They made some minor changes to fix bugs and also took out a certain song that involved Muslim chanting. Alright then, so I accidentally cut out, but that's pretty much my entire collection. I went over the basics. I'm probably gonna try to make a better video about individual items. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys again.